What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Hanging with Matty D. Got a guy in the house tonight who writes an award-winning sports blog here in San Diego. He's been doing it for probably 3 at least, or 4 or 5,
6
years.
7.
6 years. But yeah, we found him. We liked him. We asked him to come on like we do with all of our guests. That's why he's here. It is Tuesday night. The sun is still out. It's hot as fuck today in San Diego, so that means the summer is near. But we have Mr. David Frecker.
Yes, sir.
In the building tonight.
Thanks for having me on,
man,
dude.
we're excited to have him. He's no stranger to the microphone, though. He knows what he's doing. But so the reason we asked him on the show is he runs SDS Sports Domination, is what he's mainly known for here in the San Diego area, which is an extremely successful sports blog, pretty much, right? You
yes,
cover
sir.
everything San Diego sports. But tell us how you got into that, man.
So I got into sports. Basically, I've been playing sports all my life from when I could walk through high school. Got injured in high school. Created 2 Facebook groups as a San Diego State freshman, which feels really weird to me now because that's when Facebook was really getting going.
Yeah, that was it, right?
And
so
now,
that's
like,
what, 2000?
It was 2009 when I graduated from
Okay.
high school. So one of them was to support our football team, and the other was to support our basketball team. And those have since grown to over 3,000 members for basketball and over 1,000 for football. And one of my acquaintances in the group knew somebody who worked at ESPN Radio here in San Diego. He was able to get me on air to be his sideline guy for San Diego State football. So, like, I would call in and do like a 5 or 10 minute long report for him, or I would actually go in studio and I would guest with him. I'm currently blanking on his name, which is really bad of me to do.
That's where you get your foot in the door, man.
Anchorman was made after this movie. He's
Okay.
one of the guys in which Will Ferrell is portraying in this movie.
Okay. So Anchorman is portrayed off actual San Diego news?
Yes, it is.
No way.
Yes, 100% real. Yeah, that's why everybody in San Diego absolutely loves that movie.
Well, I just got chills because I did not know that.
Yes, okay, so I'm now remembering his name, thankfully. His name is Rod Luck.
Okay.
He worked in sports in Philadelphia and then was fired from his news station out there, I believe for substance abuse, but that's what he was fired from in San Diego for substance abuse. But he created the PPR in San Diego, which is very well loved, which is the Prep Pigskin Report, which is high school football.
All of San Diego?
Yeah, which KUSI does every Friday night, and they cover, I believe, 90 to 100 or 100-plus games. And it's like an hour to an hour and a half long show, and they show highlights for everything. He created that at KUSI, and he was very fiery, very boisterous.
Yeah.
And substance abuse really kicked him in the teeth, but he tried to make a comeback, and that was through radio.
Okay.
So I was lucky enough to meet up with him. He was clean at that point, doing really well. Yeah. And he unfortunately had some issue with his vocal cords and had a surgery to repair them, and they were actually cut.
Leave
so
nodes or whatever it is. Pitch perfect.
It could be, but he was like, it was really bad. He could barely talk. His voice was really raspy. So we did that for 6 months, and then he went off air.
Mm-hmm.
And a national blog called Fansided, which some people may have heard of, contacted me to run their San Diego State website, which at the time was getting about 1 hit a day.
So is this, when you say fan-sided, is this strictly they're reaching out to you just because you're going to be their SDSU sports guy?
Well, basically, yeah.
Okay.
They reached out to me. They say we saw that you're dominant on Facebook. You have all the groups. You have the followers. You've been on ESPN, and we think you would be a good fit for this. So they brought me on. Within 6 months, we had them over 50,000 hits.
Wow.
We were quickly approaching the top 5 in terms of fastest growing blogs on their entire server. But I kind of was really stupid. This is keep in mind, I was a freshman in college. I was in a fraternity. I was doing really stupid things. Got into a fight with them. I couldn't really spell that well at the time, and they were like, dude, you can't spell good. We want to bring in an editor to teach you how to spell and spell check all your stuff. And I was like, guys, I've brought you from 1 hit to 1,000 a day.
Yeah.
You had 100. You now have over 60,000.
Yeah.
I've hired 12 writers for you guys. You had 0.
Really?
I am not taking a back seat.
Yeah.
and we just decided to go our different ways. They really didn't want to put money into our website because they have like Big Ten, ACC, Pac-12, SEC, all that stuff.
Were you getting paid at this time?
I was a little bit,
Okay,
yeah.
so they were throwing you some change. Okay.
Yeah, and it was, we were the only Mountain West blog that they had, so there was no really big, we can let them go. It's not really going to hurt. We don't have any other website.
You're talking about like anyone else writing for any other school in the Mountain
Yeah,
West?
so basically, Fansided has like NFL, NBA, wrestling. Like, they have over 100 blogs globally, so they do a lot of sports.
Okay.
So letting one little measly blog slip away
is
not really a big deal, considering some of their websites are getting hundreds of thousands of hits.
Okay. Interesting, man. And this is all when you were a freshman in
It
college?
was, yeah. So the day after we basically got fired, I talked to my friends. I'm like, yo, do you guys want to keep doing this? And we started San Diego Sports Domination the very next day.
Were your friends that you were doing this with, were they students as well?
Some of them were. Some of them were seniors in high school, and then some of them I met through sports.
And it was strictly for San Diego State sports?
It was at that time because that's what I was really into because I knew all the guys on the basketball team. I knew all the football players. I had the inside scoop. I was on campus. One of my friends was a really, really big Chargers guy, so he wanted to cover the Chargers. Another one was a really big Padre fan, so he wanted to do the Padres.
Okay.
I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to stick with State. It's been working. Look at how well we've done. We've had recruiting articles linked to like ESPN.
Yeah.
And I was only doing that because I wanted the best, closest information without trying to be biased.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't going to pay for a recruiting website when I can hit the kids up on Twitter and say, hey, can you answer 10 questions for me? I don't care if you want to come to San Diego State. I just want to know your mindset.
Yeah.
But we stopped doing that a long time ago because in the realm of things, I'm considered to be a booster. So it could be a recruiting violation had I continuing to talk to some of these kids.
Are you saying talking to kids that were at State or
that were incoming? So they were juniors who were trying to receive scholarship offers from our university.
And you were asking them?
I was asking them questions, yeah, because I wanted to be like my own recruiting database because I like getting the long answers. I want to know everything, and I don't want to pay to get them.
Yeah.
And I want to help these kids out because that's something I've always wanted to do, and I figured maybe it's time to not do that because it could jeopardize the kids as well.
Yeah.
But we were doing that back then, and we all figured, okay, you want to cover the Padres, Chargers, I'll cover the Aztecs. Let's make a big blog, and I'll run it. And you guys help me produce the content, and away we go. So we created it the very next day after leaving Fansided.
So did it take a while for your fan base, obviously, that you had with Fansided? Did it take a while to turn those people over to the SDS Sports Domination?
Not very long. So for those of you who are watching the show that are from San Diego or listening from San Diego, you all know that the San Diego Union Tribune has a blocked website. So they have the subscription model in which if you want to view more than 10 articles, you must pay for their content. And in journalism, we call it a paywall.
Okay.
So they put that up, and I was like, there might be a lot of people in San Diego that still want that sports content that aren't willing to pay or just don't have the money to pay for real news. So we tried to pick off all of those people at the same time.
So did this start as a site like this? Did you guys just buy the domain name and then just start creating content and just started putting what you were writing for Fansided, obviously, into SDS it's SDS Sports Domination, right?
San Diego Sports Domination is the whole name. Okay. SDS Domination for short. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys cover everything from well, your bread and butter, would you say, is
San Diego State.
San Diego State, right?
But I've been working my day job, so haven't really been like writing back like I used to. So we used to pump out about 5 articles a day.
Oh wow.
So as much content as we could to get our readers to continue reading.
Is there anybody else doing something like this for State or for San Diego area other than the news stations?
Other than the news stations, not at the time that this was created. There are a few that have been brought in to try and compete with mine, in which I've crushed. One of them being Fansided. They tried to come back into the market, and their blog actually reached out to me and asked for help. They're like, do you want to come write for us? And right when their higher-ups heard whose name it was, they were like, no. They revoked the invitation.
Yeah, obviously.
But yeah, we crushed them when they tried to join.
Well, that's gonna feel good.
Because there's a lot of Padres-specific blogs. There's a lot of Chargers-specific blogs.
Mm-hmm.
There are San Diego soccer-specific, but not one that covers everything.
And that's what you guys do.
Yeah.
You guys are the umbrella to cover everything. Did you guys find you lost a lot of content since the Chargers left, or a lot of viewers to your page?
That is a very big one. So I had the unique opportunity to watch DJ Fluker, who was an ex-Chargers player, played for his Giants in Alabama before he just signed with Seattle.
Yeah.
He was very, very big in the community.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was the president of the Juvenile Justice Commission at the time. So basically what they do is they go around, they inspect juvenile holding facilities. I listened to that one podcast with your friend who was in juvie for a little bit.
Oh, my neighbor upstairs.
Yeah. So he would have been at one of the places that my mom would have inspected to make sure that they're being treated properly and correctly. And DJ spent a lot of his time at Juvenile Hall while he was in San Diego, and a lot of people didn't know that.
Just as in, is he a native San Diegan or no?
He is not.
So
no.
you're saying like as like community work?
Yeah,
or
during
just
the off season and stuff, he bought Thanksgiving dinner for the entire kids in the entire facility.
Wow.
And would go and give inspirational speeches and say, "Hey guys, this is what you need to do. You don't want to be coming back here. You don't want repeat visits."
Of
like
course.
There's still one kid, I believe, who he flew out to a Giants game and gave him tickets and a full stay from one of the kids that he had met in juvie here in San Diego. But I got to go watch him give a speech, and I wrote an article on it. And my mom's contact at the Chargers liked it so much, we got full media credentials to cover the Chargers.
Wow.
And I believe we were only one of 2 blogs maybe that had credentials to actually go watch them. So we had the opportunity to go to practices at the Chargers training facility and videotape, photograph, and interview players alongside San Diego media, which was really phenomenal.
And this has to be when you're still in college then, because he got traded to...
No, this was a few years ago, so I would say this is the year right before the Chargers left LA.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was really fun.
It's been huge for you guys.
It was, but then it also hurt on the content that we could publish, because we actually had to follow the NFL content rules, which means if we take professional video at practice, it can only be up for 24 hours. Once you hit that 24-hour window, you must take it down or you're violating NFL video rule.
Really?
Yeah. So we actually had a video we left up on YouTube for like a week, because one of my guys who was offered a job at ESPN as a video photographer, but he has 3 triplets and didn't want to move.
Yeah.
He does video and photo for me all the time. And I was like, hey, we have the opportunity to shoot the Chargers. Do you want to come?
Yeah, of course.
He's like, oh, hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
And he made it one of the sickest videos you've ever seen for training camp. And I got an email from the Chargers saying, you need to take this down right now. You violated the policy.
And that's just because it included practice.
Yeah. If it's practice video, it's got to be down within 24 hours.
Why is that?
I have no clue.
That's a crazy
it's really
rule.
That's one, and then they have all sorts of social media rules about tweeting and football and what teams can do, which is really weird. Sometimes game footage can also be in that, but if it's like B-roll where you're just like shooting, let's say, the sky and you're interviewing a player, that's perfectly fine. But if you're showing on-field action after 24 hours, there's a takedown
like them running plays
notice.
Or anything like
which
that.
is really weird.
Rule.
But it's something that I had to learn
Well, I guess
to
that's
conform
true,
to
because
that.
if you ever see some of those sports things where like when Teddy Bridgewater broke his leg, you couldn't find it anywhere, and I guess that's because that's the NFL rule after 24 hours.
And like I had a full packet that was probably 20 pages deep that I had to read about here's how you cover, if you want interviews, here's who you talk to.
Yeah.
It's like I can't just say, yo, DJ, can we hang out and can you come on my show? Like I had to go through Chargers PR, and then I had to go through his PR once I got approval from the Chargers to be able to do it.
Really?
So it's like it's this huge process, and even like with our Chargers Domination live Facebook show that we do, which I'm actually going to be doing an episode tonight after this show at 9:00. You know, we couldn't do interviews that we filmed on location at the Chargers park because that was against their deal because they can't really screen it. And we couldn't put video, audio in, and we had to like be really careful with what we said. We couldn't be critical of the team. We had to act like full on media.
So would you say that hurt you guys a little bit because that's not the direction that you were going towards?
I would say it hurt a little bit, but then it really helped us a lot because like we would get full on injury reports from the team that we could use,
Okay.
and they would send us like 400-page PDF files of here's a game preview for the Denver Broncos, and here's every stat in the history of the entire series. So we would just
Between
dig
the
through.
two of them, they
Yeah.
would give you that,
Yeah.
like that pat. Here's Monday. Here you go. It's the game on Sunday.
Yeah. So we would just dig through that and pull stats and pull out everything that we thought was really interesting.
You're like analyzing everything and stuff like that. That's crazy.
So it was a really cool opportunity for my guys. And they absolutely loved it. We got to go to Chargers camp. I actually got yelled at by Chargers PR for bringing 3 guys because everybody else, San Diego media, had 2. And the blogger had 3 guys.
Oh,
so
really?
They're like, you cannot bring this many guys ever again. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Did they make you like check in daily and like?
We didn't really do that much, so to speak. It was, I wanted to go if there was a press conference. So I went to a lot of the Save Our Bolt press conferences about trying to save the Chargers in San Diego. I went to some of the like preseason stuff, but it was mostly like, hey, you guys can do this. Like, you're not real media, so we can't let you come to the games, sit in the press boxes. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But you can have full access to our facility as long as we approve it ahead of time.
Awesome.
So it was a really cool experience.
That must have been awesome. Fresh out of college, you obviously know your blog's killing it and stuff like that, and you guys are one of 2 blogs that get media passes and stuff.
Yeah, it was really unique. It was really cool.
Was it a sad day for you when they left?
It was for me, but then I also work with NFL teams at my day job at STN, which I can't talk about.
Yeah, of course.
Because I have all sorts of like confidentiality papers signed. So I watch football every Sunday, the entire day for the last like 2.5 years. So for me, losing the Chargers is not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But one of my writers, John Kegley, who's one of my best friends, he has Asperger's syndrome, but he's like really high functioning, so you wouldn't know if you met him.
Yeah.
He is like die-hard Chargers fan. That's his Twitter handle, die-hard Chargers fan. He has an LT tattoo on one arm, a Junior Seau tattoo on the other.
Wow.
He's collected over 200 Charger jerseys that are all LT jerseys.
Like just all different ones?
Yeah. But he has 200 that are specifically LT because that's his favorite player ever.
Yeah.
He flew to watch LT get into the Hall of Fame. Literally flew there, ran to it, ran back to the airport, flew back. He was like he was not good. He wanted to literally kill Dean Spanos or kill somebody. And I had to hit him up on Facebook. I'm like, I know you're going down there. Don't do anything stupid. Yeah. Well, he was busy saving LT jerseys when everybody was trying to light everything on fire. He was pulling them out of the fire.
Do you think that's a little radical?
I think so. But then it's sports. You know, he had a rough childhood. Sports probably saved him.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry. I'm not talking
No, he's one of the sports fans that will lock himself in his closet if they lose. Like, he will not. He is extreme sports fan.
Okay.
Which I see, he loves it. I love it.
Do you think though, like what I was getting at is when it's like radical, when they were going crazy in the parking lot, like burning the jerseys? Do you think that's radical, or do you think?
No, I would think like hardcore fans from every city would do the exact same thing if their team ever left.
Okay.
Because these guys, a lot of them from like he has been a Chargers fan since high school, and he's been almost every home game. He has season tickets.
Yeah.
So like those guys have been following the team for 20 years. I think it's a lot bigger of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just. Do you think they needed to move?
I do not, but
No.
it was a business decision according to their owner.
The new stadium that they have planned looks pretty sick, though.
It does.
It does look pretty fucking sick.
But, that is LA. They have USC. They have UCLA. They have the Kings. They have the Ducks. They have the Angels. They have the Dodgers. The Chargers are going to be last fiddle, and we've already seen that in terms of attendance. And
because they play at the StubHub Center.
Watching the Eagles fans overrun them was insane.
They run. What is it like 30,000 that StubHub Center holds or something like that?
I believe it's like 29, 30, 31,000. Yeah, it's really small.
But I don't know. It's a shame, man. I wish they didn't leave, man. Just to get to go to an NFL game, just to experience. We went to the last one when they played the Chiefs, and like it didn't kick in until the end that was like the last game there, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Man. Like there's no more of this coming, so it sucks. But so you guys also cover the Padres.
We do.
Are you a diehard Padres fan or you're not?
I am, but they are very hard to cover on our blog because about when they start losing, which is already, people start tuning out and don't care. So it's kind of difficult to write about them.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that because if they're losing, people don't want to hear about them.
Yeah, like we will if they're winning, but that's what our podcast is for. We try and cover them more on the podcast.
Why do you think they're so bad?
I'll just say how many different GMs they've gone through. Like with Preller, he just wanted to fire sale everybody after they tried the Matt Kemp whole thing where they spent like probably their entire budget on like 4 guys, and then they're not winning, so let's get rid of them all, and then let's send all of our prospects away.
Yeah.
But now we have the number 1 farm system in Major League Baseball,
really?
So like they're gonna be good. But they keep trading them away. They're kind of like prospect hoarders, so to speak, where they're like, oh, we have a good player. Oh, let's get more prospects.
Yeah.
But then they're too afraid to call them up. And then they go back and they're like, oh, Chase Headley's on the market. Let's trade the Yankees for him when we had him for a really long time.
Yeah, exactly. Now they have him back.
Yeah, exactly.
And they just spent Janikowski. They sent him back to the minors. Stuff like that.
And then you have Hosmer, who is a really good player. Paid a lot of money, but can't catch a pop fly at first base, which was really, I fell over laughing. That was so bad.
On it, man. It's just, and he hasn't been producing. Well, it's the same thing with if you talk about, I don't know how into baseball you are, but it's the same thing with like, I saw a stat yesterday. It was like Stanton from the Yankee. I'm a Yankees fan, but they were saying he struck out 16 times in 1 week, and they're like Babe Ruth struck out 13 times in 1 season.
And the Padres struck out over 35 times in their series that they just played.
Was the Rockies?
I believe so, or the one before that.
I was behind home plate with a sign that said, "Listen to hang." We had like the Lexus seats, and
I saw that.
Yeah. It's like the guy's like, I got it up to like the 3rd and a half inning, and the guy comes and taps me on the shoulder, and he's like, "Sir, is that your business?" And I'm like, "This?" I was like, "No." He's like, we're getting some feed from up in the box. Can you just please take that down? And the lady behind me is like, I'm surprised you lasted that long. Because my buddies were like, yo, you're on TV. You can see the sign and stuff like that. But so what do you think about how State did in that tournament?
I was amazed they even got there, to tell you the truth. I was happy. I predicted a buzzer beater to win the game.
I was pissed, man. We were so mad here.
Oh, I bet.
I'm not even like a diehard State fan, but of course I'm going to root for the home team. And when they were playing Houston and that fucking kid with the ponytail and the shaved head, dude, don't even get me started on him.
No, that kid, oh no.
Man, I don't know what his fucking name is, but he just pissed me off. Just the way he looked pissed me off.
Man bun.
Yeah, but it was like the shaved, it wasn't a full man, it was like a half man bun. But he goes up for that little like layup to win the game. Oh man,
That was one of those games where I was sitting at home thinking, this team is fouling a ton. Like, they shot like 20, 25 free throws.
Yeah.
The Aztecs did. So why are you not crashing the boards? Why are you not trying to draw fouls? Why are you shooting threes when you know you can't hit them anyways?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But the one thing, what's funny is that I noticed about San Diego State, about the players, was the size.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, though, every team that I've ever seen with State, though, they never have a guy that's, like, they have tall guys, but they're all, like, lanky. They never have any mass on them. And I wonder why they recruit like that, or if it's that they can't get anybody like that here.
So, like, the last time they did that, they had Brian Carwell from Chicago on the team with Kawhi Leonard, Billy White, Malcolm Thomas, DJ Gay, and were really, really good.
Yeah.
It's like 34-3. Yeah, this is the best team in school history, and now I just don't get it.
It's like weird, man. It's like there's so much potential. I don't know why any student wouldn't want to come play here, but I don't know, man.
Maybe it's too hard to get in. You know, they're getting in over 100,000 applications now to go to San Diego State.
But if you're recruiting a D1 level basketball player. And they're like, oh, you want to come to San Diego State on a full ride? We'll make it work for you, you know?
Let's hope they have like 3 or 4 scholarships open now. So hopefully they're listening to us and they can go out and get one.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to live here? You know, I don't get it.
Probably because it's the Mountain West. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but that's the only thing, too. You got to think that you think those guys don't come to these schools because they feel like they don't play as big school. But on a side note, we were at I mean, it's not Mountain West. They were not in Mountain West, but we were at the State versus Stanford game this year when the lights went out and then they beat them at the end, man.
That was one of my favorite games that I've ever been to.
That game was sick.
Yes.
I've never felt so old in my life because I went tailgating before because my buddy plays for the rugby team. But I was like, fuck. And we get there and I was like, oh, let's leave. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's stay till the end. And they beat, the lights went out and then they beat Stanford with I think it was like a touchdown pass, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Man.
That game was insane.
Do you guys do a lot of football for state?
Football is my favorite sport, so yes.
David, what's the kid that won or was up for the Heisman? He was like number 5 for the Heisman.
Rashad Penny was our running back.
Is he gonna? You think he'll get picked up?
He most definitely will.
Yeah.
He's predicted second, third round draft pick right now.
Because didn't he break a rushing record this year?
He broke Pumphrey's all season record this year.
And Pumphrey was on the team last.
Yeah, Pumphrey broke the NCAA rushing record for a career.
Oh, okay.
The previous
for
year.
the whole NCAA.
Yeah, in the history of the country, in the history of college football, he's number 1.
And this guy broke it, or this guy broke?
He broke that guy's season record.
Okay.
Yeah, because last year, Pumphrey ran for over 2,000 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Penny ran for over 1,000.
Oh, okay.
And then this year, as a starter, Penny ran for over like 2,200 yards or something like that to beat him. But it was the first time in the history of college football that any team in the nation has ever had back-to-back 2,000-yard backs that were a different back.
That's pretty.
They've never had two separate guys run for 2,000 yards in back-to-back years.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So you could say San Diego State is a little bit of a running back dynasty.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy with those running backs? They're not huge.
They're not, no. Their offensive line is now, though.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
They're big boys?
They're like 6'6", 6'7", 320, 330, 340.
Oh, wow.
They're getting Alabama-sized, SEC-sized offensive linemen, which is
Yeah.
really helping them.
Yeah, it's crazy because State never. I mean, I don't know if they'll ever come out of the Mountain West, but if they keep winning, they probably will. But I don't know, man. That's a whole nother. What are they doing with the stadium?
That's a very good question. We're trying to get SDSU West passed, but they're having to get that passed against the soccer resolution, which will also be on the ballot in November. So
That's for the whole SD Soccer City or whatever.
it is,
right?
yeah. So it's up in the air, and right now San Diego State is not helping themselves. They're shooting themselves in the foot with this whole mascot political correctness debate that's going on right now, where they're trying to remove the mascot, and they created a special counsel, and they will not release the names. And they specifically said in the email by SDSU PR, we will release the names of this council. They went back in a month later, deleted it, and are refusing to give it. And a lot of people in my group and a few other groups are sending in Freedom of Information Act, FOIA acts, to California government to get those names, and they're withholding them, refusing. So it's not showing very good on SDSU's side that they're refusing to give the names of the people who are on that committee.
So why would it be beneficial to have the names of the people on that committee?
Transparency, because they're saying that we're being transparent, and this whole process will be transparent. Okay. And they're hiding all the information and all the closed door meetings. They're supposed to have like public minutes that are available, but they haven't posted any minutes in like months.
As in, like that you'll be able to go and see and watch the conference or anything like that.
They're sliding everything on there. They don't want people to know what's going on with that.
So just so I'm clear, the whole debate with that is from San Diego State not being called Aztecs or San Diego State not having the Aztec as their actual mascot.
San Diego State would have a different mascot.
So they wouldn't be
So
called,
they're saying like
SDSU
San Diego
Aztecs.
State Snakes or something. Like get rid of the mascot. The mascot is racist. We cannot use it. That's the debate.
How do you feel about that?
I hate it. I'm not an Aztec, so I can't say that it's racist or not. But one of my friends, Carlos Gutierrez, was the major Monty Montezuma, who was the number 1 mascot, who everybody knows. And I've made friends with Mike Lopez and all these other guys that were Aztec Warriors. One of them was actually Aztec blood.
Oh, wow.
So he was fully behind it. You know, they've had Aztec descendants in Mexico City say, you know, we love it. They're representing it.
You're saying that they love that San Diego State is Okay.
I've talked to classes, like been on other podcasts about it. We even have a casino that is sponsoring our hospitality school of gambling on campus. Our basketball arena's name is Viejas.
Yeah.
So if it's so racist, why are two different Indian tribes supporting San Diego State? Which is the whole. It's just one group. It's one annoying guy who I will not name because that gives him publicity. He's pissed off about it, and he keeps bringing it up, and then it keeps getting smashed, and then he keeps bringing it up, and it keeps getting smashed. But in our current climate, where all of the college kids are starting to be like, oh, we have to be more open-minded, it's now starting to pass, which is why a lot of us believe they're trying to hide who's on that council because they don't want people knowing what exactly is going on because they're probably going to change it.
Really?
Which is not good. Which would cost them probably hundreds of millions of dollars and
all the branding you had to take down.
All the branding, all the logos, everything. Which would suck. And a lot of alum, including myself, will no longer support San Diego State financially or through season tickets for any sport. I will dump my tickets.
Yeah.
And I'm a hardcore Aztec fan.
I can tell. I fucking
like if you go in my room, I have signed jerseys all over my walls. Like
yeah.
State is I bleed State. I applied to one college and one college only, and that was San Diego State.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it's gonna cause a lot of
but
ruckus. And
that might undermine what's going on with San Diego State trying to get the Qualcomm property right now, which is what I'm a little bit worried about.
You think they will or they won't?
It's
because they're trying to bring an MLS team here, right?
They are. And it's basically a San Diego State versus soccer debate, and who owns the city council right now? Mayor Faulkner is an Aztec.
Okay.
David Alvarez, he's an Aztec. So there's a lot of Aztecs on the city council.
Do you think though that them building that in Qualcomm, the San Diego Soccer City, is gonna make that like I'm not gonna go to an MLS. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I won't go to it. No.
It's I don't know. Like, is there such a need for it? Like, you're bringing the NFL, which is the number one grossing business, I'm pretty sure, in sports, and you're kicking them out, and now you want to put a Major League Soccer team in. The only reason they're putting that in there is so they can throw it in, and then they're going to build all those fucking buildings around it, and that's where they're going to make all their money at.
Because my other one is right down the street from where we're currently recording is Mission Bay High School.
Yeah.
And they have Albion pros that play there. Their new name this year, since they rebrand, is ASC San Diego. They are a NPSL, so National Premier Soccer League team. And the entire pyramid of soccer, they would be tier 4, so they are very low on the totem pole. But they do play in San Diego, and they're very, very good. And they draw about 1,000 to 1,500 fans a game. That was back like 2 years ago. Last year it dropped.
Yeah.
I have no clue what they're doing this year because I've been so busy. I haven't been able to apply for credentials, which we're going to in a few weeks. But
does the indoor soccer make any money?
San Diego Soccer is probably I would have no clue. They might. We cover all their games where we have actual credentials for them. They get probably between 3,000 to 7,000 fans per game.
Okay.
They have had the longest professional winning streak in North America at one point in the 80s, where they won like over 100 or 150, 200 games straight. Wow. Back in the day when they were the leader, they could pack out the sports arena, so they used to get like 10,000 plus.
Wow. For indoor soccer.
For indoor soccer, yeah. But my big thing is also, look how close we are to Tijuana, and they have the Zolos, and they're really supported. They like sell out every game.
Yeah. So
you're gonna try and bring in a soccer team that's gonna try and compete with that.
That's true.
Good luck with that, because a lot of San Diego soccer fans go the TJ. It's very close, very easy to get to.
Yeah, it's not hard.
And there's 2 teams in LA. It's a really difficult question.
Do you think the goals is a good move here?
I like them here, yes.
Yeah.
I think hockey's growing, and
it's definitely growing here too.
You can definitely see, especially with the current NHL playoffs set to start, you have 3 California teams that are competing in it, with the Ducks, who is my team.
And they're playing the Kings.
The Kings
right?
and the Sharks. It's them versus the Sharks.
Oh, okay.
And then the Kings are playing the new Vegas Golden Knights team.
Which is pretty nuts.
Yeah. So that should definitely be interesting.
Their inaugural season.
But hockey's growing.
It is.
It's something that you have to be in the hockey community to really see.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You cover the Patriots and stuff like that, so you got to be into hockey. For those of you who don't know, he covers the Patriots, which is a It's the Hockey League for veterans in San Diego. Keep talking though. Tell them about it because I'm gonna put this on real quick.
Yeah, so the Patriot hockey team is a full military, retired, active duty personnel. They play charity games. They play beer league games. That's their major thing is beer league. So they have their games every Saturday night. Their program has exploded recently. Last year they had a D3 team, a D5. Now they have a D3 team, a D5 team, I think 2 D6s in Carlsbad, and they've since opened a team in Inland Empire.
Yeah. And
so,
for those of you who don't know, the Patriots is all made up of first responders, military veterans, active duty.
They are military only.
Oh, they are military only. Okay.
So, but some of them are like, were in the military, and now they're like National Guard and firefighters.
Oh,
but
okay. But you have to be a
they
veteran.
have had veteran or active duty military service at one point.
It's good, man. They play all the fire departments and stuff like that,
and the police department, which is the really fun.
Yeah, they get into it.
They get about 3,000 fans, and they pack out the San Diego Ice Arena.
Yeah,
and that's me learning hockey because one of my first, I wrote for the Daily Aztec, which was the school newspaper for San Diego State, covering the club ice hockey team.
Okay.
And they're really good, and a lot of people don't know that San Diego State has a club team.
Yeah.
They play UCLA, they play Northern Arizona, they play ASU. I believe a few years ago they finished second in the nation for club.
Oh wow!
So like they have legitimate players, but it's like covering them. You've seen there's the Kroc Ice Arena, there's Poway Ice Arena, there's San Diego Ice Arena in Miramar, and then you have of course the Goals Home. So if you get into hockey and you go to these things, you'll see, oh, there's a lot more hockey than I thought there is in Southern California.
Yeah, there is. There's a lot.
Because it's unique. You can go from shooting surfing at the beach one day to watching hockey in the middle of the day to going to a Padres game and drinking beer with your friends at night. Like, it's radical.
It is, man. It's a great city.
It is.
Yeah.
I love it.
So how into you are I don't know how I'm going to say this, but into professional sports, or are you more of a college guy?
I'm a big college fan, but to get hits on my blog, I've had to broaden my horizon, so to speak. So we didn't just start covering the Chargers. As I said, I've been running my blog for like 6 or 7 years, so that was like 5 years in.
Yeah.
We started out by covering unknown teams in San Diego that nobody knows.
Okay.
So I reached out to the Patriots 2 years ago. If you're not in the military community, you would have no clue who they are.
Yeah.
We are covering the San Diego Enforcer football team.
The
So
cops,
they're police, DHS, Border Patrol.
Yeah, my buddy plays for them, yeah.
And they're really fun. So I've hooked up with Coach Buck, who really likes my photos, so I do photography for the team now and for my blog.
You shot the girls, right?
I do. I always do, yeah. I'm trying to get on and become one of the swimsuit calendar photo shooters because they do it every year and it's fun.
Yeah.
I like helping everybody out. We've covered Albion. I covered the San Diego Surf, which is an ABA basketball team in San Diego.
Yes.
We had the Oceanside A team, which was also one in Oceanside. And the A team stand for Armed Forces and Autism, so that's what they supported. All their money went to autism or the Armed Forces. I've also covered, oh God, there's so many really random.
Yeah.
I've covered like club events.
What about rugby in San Diego?
So that's a fun one, and a fun story surrounding it. So I'm on a database called Cision, which is for like PR nerds. This basically lets me say, hey, when I came in to talk to you, we were talking about our friend Marv who lives in Okinawa. So this is an example for him. Let's say I'm going to Okinawa for a month or for a week, and I want to cover an event or have some journalists from there cover it. I can literally go into this index, and I can find every sports blogger or journalist who lives in Okinawa.
Oh.
And I can say, hey, I have an event coming up there, and I want you to go cover it. What do I need to do? So that's basically what I got into because I sweet talked their social media manager.
Okay.
And I get over 50 to 60 PR releases a day from companies all over the world that want me to cover stuff.
Really?
So we had a release come in from a PR firm in Chicago during the Super Bowl 3 or 4 years back. And that means that there's no media in San Diego. They're all covering the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And San Diego, for those of you that do not know, is home to an Olympic training center, or used to be. Now it's a sports performance athletic center in Chula Vista.
Mm-hmm.
And they house the Eagles Sevens rugby team for the U.S. So there was a guy who they wanted to promote a story on, and they asked us if we would go interview him.
Oh,
so we got credentialed to go down there, and the training center liked our article so much that they're like, hey, we'll give you credentials for everything. So we went down there, talked to him. I got into rugby a little bit, met a few of the guys, and then the San Diego Breakers team, part of Pro Rugby, came, and we jumped in and covered them for a full season until they went bankrupt or whatever happened to Pro Rugby. Yeah. We then started covering the Aztecs, so we go out and watch as many of those games as we can. And now we have a new rugby team in San Diego called the San Diego Legion.
I saw that, yeah.
Which has just started play, and we've connected with their PR team, and we are now on their media list. Mm-hmm. So if you guys watch their rugby, we'll be at their games down on the field shooting photos.
Do you guys do
players.
A lot of video of them, or do you find like you just do photos and write the blogs?
I have gotten really into photography. Mm-hmm. My uncle was a Green Beret in Vietnam.
Okay.
He passed away last year. And as my way of getting close to him was buying a digital camera.
Okay.
Because I love sports, he loves sports, and every time I use it, I think of him.
Yeah.
So I've gotten really, really, really into photography. And my friend John, he goes everywhere with me. He has an iPad and an iPhone, and he will take video from the sidelines, and I'll shoot high-res photos.
Oh, nice.
So that way we can intermix our coverage a little bit.
Yeah, and you put everything together.
Yeah, so we have high-res photos, and then we have video of everything.
Nice.
So we make highlight videos so people can see what they missed, and then I'll take photos of the action to use as our feature photos on the website. Because I am not one of those guys that likes to rip off people's photos online. So everything that you see on our website was taken by me or any of our professional photographers that we have that hang out with us.
Nice, man. Yeah, your website's good, dude. So do you get paid to do this?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It runs my Netflix account, I like to say. It really depends. Like, we've worked with Bellator MMA when they came to San Diego, and we basically traded, and it was, hey, we'll put your ad up on our website, and you give us tickets and, like, gloves and VIP experiences and whatever, and then we picked a bunch of people to receive them all. So we gave those out.
So I saw, this is another thing that I saw you guys partnered up with. I don't know if you still do it anymore, the American Dream Sports Stories. I was watching some of those. So you guys interview what? Like local people from San Diego is pretty much the gist of what you guys were doing?
So, unfortunately, as you said, yes, that show is not around anymore. It was a huge thing that I really loved.
Yeah.
Called The American Dream. It's a conservative-based show. A lot of people either like that or they don't. But he wanted to get more viewers in. So how can we do that? Talk about sports.
Yeah.
And I have a very wide index book of people that I know. Mm-hmm. So I was in charge of booking every single segment. Mm-hmm. So every single guest on there is somebody that I know.
Okay.
That I was able to get in. And then I would literally give him talking points, and then he would interview them.
Okay.
So like we tried to go from the small to the big, covering teams, as I said earlier, that I do on my blog that nobody know about. Mm-hmm. Like, I could go even deeper and talk about the San Diego Rage, which is a semi-pro professional football team that we have here. We have the San Diego Surge, which is a professional women's team, who unfortunately are playing their last season in San Diego this year. We have the San Diego Bulldogs, which is another brand new women's professional football team. We have the San Diego Gorillas, which is a semi-pro men's team.
Jeez.
So like, we have all these semi-pro teams that nobody knows about that we've been able to shoot or have access to. And we've been able to get them on our segments to talk about their sport, and it's been interesting.
Yeah, well, your stuff's good, man. Your stuff's really good, and obviously it's working for you because you've been doing it for, like you said, what, seven years?
Yep,
yeah,
6, 7.
I mean, top 10 blogger 2014. But yeah, guys, you got to check this out. I mean, I don't know, man. This is. So what's your goal?
My goal is just to have fun and provide information to the community.
Yeah.
And then when I get bored of it, I'll stop. Like,
I don't think you get bored of it.
One of my biggest things that I've had happen is through the training center, we had the opportunity to go down and cover the U.S. BMX Olympic trials.
Okay.
For Rio.
Yeah.
And the guys who won that got to go to Rio and participate in the Olympics. Mm-hmm. And one of my friends, Vaughn, he came down to shoot, and it was AP, Getty, my photographer. AP, Getty, and then my photographer.
Yeah, Getty, like all the images you see like on the internet or anything.
And it was unbelievable to see. Oh, here's a blog photographer shooting next to like professional grade photographers that people will spend money to buy their photos.
Yeah.
So like that's the type of stuff that we try and do and cover people in teams that people normally wouldn't even know about.
Yeah.
And it's fun because I get practice and I get better at photography every day when I get to go take photos.
Yeah.
And it's just something unique. Like with the background of my website, you can see a photo taken on the field at Petco.
That's what, left field?
It is left center field.
Yeah.
And we actually did a thing for Petco, the company, shooting their dog days of summer, where every single summer they let you bring your dog to the stadium. And you can sit out at the park, which is their little field section. And before the game, they do a parade of dogs where they will walk the dogs all the way around the outfield.
Oh, okay.
And you can go behind home plate and all the way back.
Oh, nice.
So we got to do that. And that turns into one of the crazy stories that I tell at work where we met Bucky Lasik, who was throwing out the first pitch.
The skateboarder?
The skateboarder.
Okay.
He was there. The national anthem started while I was on the field. And I took a selfie with the entire Seattle Mariner organization standing right next to me with their hands over their heart. So
wow, that's
was
awesome,
very
man.
interesting. And my photographer was like, "Yo, Buggy, let's talk." And we end up seeing Little John. Little John was there because he was doing a concert like after the game. And we were following Bucky's PR staff and him into the bottom of the stadium.
Oh, really?
And got invited to his private box and got to sit up there and watch the game with them. And then my photographer was like, "Hey, do you want to go shoot the Little John thing?" And I'm like, "Dude, we don't have credentials for that." It's like they even forgot to give you one. I had to give them a hard time to get you in.
Yeah.
And they're like, "I have press box access. I have field access. You could only get field, so you have to go get into a seat."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, "No, okay. We have a camera. Let's try." And he got us through security. So we were standing right behind Little John's DJ rack taking photos of Little John DJing to the point where we could see all of the Budweiser cans he was drinking and his security removing them off of his table and hiding them behind the stage. Like
would you say that's the greatest moment that
it
you've had
is.
since?
It's one of my two truths and a lie that we play at work where I got a bullshit and everybody's like, "You did not sneak into a Little John concert." Well, yeah, I did. Little John, Lil Wayne. Like it was insane.
Yeah,
but we've done some really cool things and I've met a lot of really cool people. Our podcasts, we've talked to Lee Steinberg, who, for those of you who are older, know the movie Jerry Maguire. Mm-hmm. He is Lee Steinberg. So we've had him on some of our shows.
Wait, Jerry, who the character's
the
built
agent
off?
Is built off of Lee Steinberg, yeah.
Wow, okay.
So like he's been on our shows. We try and have the most informative Charger shows that we possibly can, where we will interview reporters from the opposing teams. Or I'll reach out on Twitter and say, "Hey, can you spare like 10 minutes in interview with us?" Like we've done Padre shows. We've had Mark Grant come on our show. Mm-hmm. We've had like all the big names.
And you do that out of where?
Just out of my bedroom.
Nice, man. That's what we're in right now.
It's the way to do it, man.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
So it's like just doing that, and then I've met people through Rotary, so I'll go out and shoot surfing.
Okay.
I'll shoot rugby, football, baseball.
But that's how you get your name out there, man. That's what's fantastic about it.
Basically shoot everything.
Yeah.
Which is really fun. It opens you up to a unique audience of people. Especially the Patriots. That's become my new love, so to speak, in the sports world.
The Patriots?
Yeah, especially because like my uncle was, as I was saying, he was a Green Beret Ranger in Vietnam. Mm-hmm. My cousin was 82nd Airborne. Okay. My uncle was 101st. So those two would get into it all the time on 100 and worst, and like you're almost American and like all this other crap, which was hilarious. And then I have a bunch of fraternity brothers who are Marines. Mm-hmm. So our fraternity, we didn't have a house, so we were in the SVO most of the time. Okay. So like I knew all the guys from state from the SVO.
Yeah.
My cousin is in the Air Force. Mm-hmm. My friend went into the Coast Guard. So like I have a huge military family. I know all these people.
Yeah.
I have other cousins that are cops. Yeah. So it's like it's unique, but it's a way that I'm able to give back because that's one thing I'm really big into is community service.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun going out and shooting the military guys and getting them photography that they normally wouldn't get.
Yeah.
And then seeing how happy they are.
Yeah.
Like one of our guys, Tiny Dancer, I think he's a sergeant. He's like 5'3",
Okay.
like really small Marine, really fast at hockey.
Yeah.
He's now back in Michigan after he rotated out. And he has all these photos that I took of him playing hockey.
Yeah, everyone loves
which
that,
are like
dude.
his favorite memories from the Marines. And it's just really cool because I get to go out and shoot every one of their games. And they just played on Saturday. They had their D3 and D5 team play. So I was able to upload 400 photos to Facebook and videos. And I have a GoPro. And the referee was like, yo, do you want me to skate with your GoPro? And I'm like, hell yeah.
Oh, really?
Put him to work, man. So I have like 10-minute video of the ref skating around with a GoPro.
Oh, nice.
So
man.
just being able to give them support to me is
dude.
really big.
Yeah, of course. Well, as a veteran, we appreciate that, man.
It's also fun because you guys are a fun, unique group to hang out with. A lot of people don't get that whole side. Like one of their guys who was named the player of the year for the Patriots. His name is Mike Lands. He's really cool. He's like 6'9", 6'10". He's really he's really big. He was in the Army, and he had 2 really bad combat tours overseas, where he had been in, I believe, 2 or 3 IED attacks.
Oh, okay.
One of which he nailed his head on the lid of a Humvee, and he has like serious PTSD, and he just goes out and plays hockey, and that's his thing. And it's like he's got 20 guys, he's got 50 guys, he's got 100 guys surrounding him that help him get back to normal, that help him with everything that he needs, and gives him that team atmosphere, which is something that I think is important, especially when you have the veterans that are coming back from war zones that need that whole team camaraderie deal. And it's fun just to interact with them because as I said, my uncle was in the military, my cousins were in the military. I know what military life is like. Yeah. It's especially when you have to listen to your cousin whose fiance is in Iraq for a year, how worried she is. Like it's something
hard,
that people outside do not really understand.
Yeah, man. Well, that's awesome though what you're doing for them, and for us as a veteran, I appreciate that, and you shoot all that stuff. But I got some people that we should hook you up with too. We'll talk about after this because I think they'll be definitely willing to have you come out and love to have you do that though.
Yeah, it's tons of fun.
So I'm gonna end with 2 more questions, but what's the craziest thing that's happened to you in the sports world since you've been doing this?
One of my friends who's a photographer got me invited to shoot the Marshall Falk golf tournament.
Okay.
And one of our other friends was also there. She's a photographer. I have a 500 millimeter lens, so I like to nickname myself the sniper because I go like half the hole length, so about 300 yards down, and I hide in a bush to try and get the photo of them teeing off. She's about 50 yards out in front of the tee and almost gets smacked in the head with a golf ball and has to literally run out of the way because she was laying on the ground and almost zapped her in the head. Like I thought that was a close call.
Yeah, that's not something you would mess around with.
No, which wasn't, but
to get the shot.
Oh yeah, people will do anything to get that perfect shot. But my favorite has to be when I was hanging out with the Seattle Mariners down in the field when I wasn't supposed to be there. But he was like, "Hey, we're gonna hang out with this guy. I want to take photos of him." And I'm a photographer, and photographers can do anything when they have their gear. And you have famous people around, you can do absolutely anything.
Really?
Nobody's going to stop you.
Nobody says anything?
Because nobody's going to come over and check your gear or anything. And, we're making fun of Robinson Cano. Yeah. We had one guy who was trying to juggle a baseball, and he kept dropping it. We kept laughing at him, and he'd get really mad at us. And it was hilarious. But it's like nothing I've ever done because, I've been to state. I've gotten to take photos on the field. I've gotten to photograph Pumphrey, which was one of my favorite things because he's the leadingest rusher in the history of NCAA football. I got to shoot his backup. I've shot a lot of other people. I've gotten to take photos at Charger games. Padres, again, is really hard. They're professional. They don't like bloggers. They won't. It's very hard to get on the field.
For the Padres?
Yeah, for NFL, NHL, AHL, and Major League Baseball, it's very, very, very hard. But it's just really fun when you get to do those big experiences at stadiums where nobody else gets to go. And it's like just going to Chargers Park and hanging out with Antonio Gates, who's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He's one of the best tight ends ever. And just have a casual conversation with him.
Yeah.
Or say, yo, what's up, Phillip? And have Phillip Rivers talk to you. Like, there's nothing like it.
Yeah. I mean,
Especially when you're at training camp and you see 10,000 fans lining the walls. And you're in there as one of the few media members that gets to talk to him. Like, there's nothing like it.
Well, it seems you've been rewarded.
Makes me feel like a badass.
You should, dude. I mean, look what you put together since freshman year of college, man.
Because that's led off to a lot of things. While I was actually in San Diego State, I was giving lectures to our journalism department on how to build blogs.
Really?
As a junior. So, it's opened a lot of doors. That was also a really cool experience, getting to influence my peers, teach them stuff.
Yeah, man. Well, it seems like it's done well for
on
you.
and off the field, it's a blast.
So if people want to find you and read more about your blogs, where do they find you at?
You guys can find us online at SanDiegoSportsDomination.com. You can follow us on Twitter at @SanDiego_sports or Instagram at SDSDDomination.
All right, you guys heard it there. Dave, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks for inviting me, man.
Blast,
it was
I'm
really
glad
fun.
we got to meet, dude. I'm glad you got to blow my mind with some of your sports knowledge and your stories and stuff.
And
like
I didn't
that.
even get...
Oh, we're
deep into
We're
it.
gonna have you back on, dude. Don't worry about it. But again, Dave, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. Please hit subscribe. You know what to do. Write us some reviews. Tell us what you want to hear. Again, David, thank you so much for blessing us tonight with your presence. It's been a real honor. Until next time, we'll have you on. All right.
Yes, sir. Thanks
all
again.
Right. Guys, thanks for listening again. Till next time. Adios.